So let's turn the Equinox 800 on here. So I just buried a small little piece of jewelry. Small little piece of jewelry about 1.5 inches deep, right where that blue bottle cap is, plastic bottle cap. And I also buried a nickel at 5 inches deep there just a couple days ago. And then I got another coin over there in the test garden that I've had for about 5 minutes. That's about 3 inches deep as a dime in the iron. I'll show you here. I'll go to prospecting mode. This is the war zone. Turn the iron on. Right around that red dot, there's lots of iron. Right around this blue dot, there's lots of iron. Right around this white bottle cap, there's lots of iron, right? All this is iron. Just screws, nuts, bolts, bottle caps, coins. I've found coins and relics in this spot here. That's enough of that. So I'll start out in park 1. I'll noise cancel. And then I'll go and check my recovery speed. Go to 6 first. Iron bias is at 0. Always 0 on my machine because I dig an iron, right? And here's that piece of jewelry here. I'll see what my gain is at. I'll pump my gain up here a little bit. There's that piece of jewelry, 1.5 inches deep. Little piece of jewelry. Just a couple days ago I put it in there. The 6-inch coil does pretty good on this target. The Deus does really good too. The Deus with the high frequency elliptical coil and the 9-inch coil just smacks this thing out like there's no tomorrow. Right. I'm getting a little something there, but this detector is so hard to get that little wobble, you know, that they talk about, because it just flops all over the place, right? This big coil. With the smaller coil with the shaft on here, it's just so much easier to swing that small coil around. And that small coil, you know, I'm not trying to get 10-inch deep targets, right? In most of my sites, I'm not trying to get 10-inch deep targets. Unless I'm digging in a farm field, you know, I have some videos with this big coil here in the farm fields. Swinging slow, not getting too much. So, not performing very well. I'll go to 40 kilohertz frequency, because it is a small piece of jewelry. Just jumping everywhere. Minus numbers, just not doing very well on that target right there today. But this big coil doesn't really get small stuff out anyway. I just know that about this coil. It's not going to do it. I'll go to Park 2. Multi-frequency. My gain is at 21. I'll go actually down with it a little bit so it doesn't hear all the iron. Oh, come on. Oh, it's hitting it. A little teeny bit right there. It just hit a little teeny bit there. It's not too bad. 40 kilohertz, Park 2. I'll switch to 20 first. No, it just sounds like this other iron here around here, right? You just can't pinpoint it. Just 40 kilohertz. So Park 2, 40 kilohertz. I'll go up with my gain a little bit here. Just not hitting it today. Okay, let's go with the nickel, 5 inches deep. It's been there for about 2 days. Park 1. Multi-frequency. Gain is at 20. A lot of iron in the hole there, so it's jumping around a lot, right? It's hard to pinpoint it. I'll go up with my recovery speed here. I'll go up to 7. I usually don't go up to 7. It just runs really unstable at 7. You know, it sounds like this other crap out here, right? Actually, it's hitting it pretty good. It's jumping around a lot. I'll try Park 2. 40 kilohertz. I don't want 40 kilohertz. It's a nickel. Nickels work good for the mid frequencies. Just jumping everywhere. You know, trying to swing this thing, give the little wobble there that they talk about. You know, your arm starts getting tired if you dig a lot of targets out like me, right? This big coil just makes this detector really unbalanced. It's hitting it fairly good. I mean, fairly good. Now for this dime here in Park 2, 3 inches deep. One-way target. Jumping everywhere. It's hard to pinpoint this one in Park 2. There's a lot of iron. I'll go down with my gain a little bit here. It'll probably do a lot better. You know, with the Equinox, you got to adjust the gain a little bit. If you're going for shallower targets, you got to drop your gain down a lot because it'll hear all the iron there. It just doesn't do that great in the iron. Go to 13. There we go. It's hitting it a little bit right there, right there. But it's a dime, you know. Dimes read at 26 or so, something like that. It's gonna be jumpy no matter what, right? Now I'll go to Park 1. It's hard to pinpoint it. This big coil is just so hard to pinpoint with. That little coil really smacks this thing out. The 6-inch coil on the Equinox smacks this thing out big time. Oh, right there. You know, it takes a lot of energy to swing it. Give it the little wiggles, you know. A lot of pushing buttons on the Equinox. I'll just turn the detector on. Full gain. Field mode. There's that piece of jewelry that the Equinox was not hitting. 1.5 inches deep. It's obvious right where that blue dot is at. Here's Park 1. It smacked it out big time. Right where that blue dot is at. And this is how you hunt in the iron, right? You go on like this. Iron, 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 iron. You want to dig that out, right? If you don't hear the iron, if you get a higher tone in Park 1, dig it out, right? Obvious one. Here's Park 2. This is full gain too, right? I'm not having to adjust my gain or anything. I'm not having to adjust my frequencies. I think Park 1 thrived on that target right there. Here's this nickel right here, Park 2. It's actually giving me double taps. That's how deep the Simplex can go, man. It's giving me double taps, and that nickel was at 5 inches deep right there. That's Park 2. Here's Park 1. It'll really do good here. See? All iron. Right when I hear a target like that, I just start rotating on it, right? Just watch my videos, I just start rotating on it. And watch this. This is... It's all iron, right? Oh, there's some foil over here. There's some foil over here too. Dig me target out all day long. All 3 of those. This little bit of jewelry here, it's pretty tough to hit that one. But the Simplex was hitting that nickel and that dime. The nickel is at 5 inches deep and the dime's at 3 inches deep in this horrible iron. That jewelry, it was pretty tough to hit on that one. But you know, with the Equinox, I was having to push a lot of buttons, man. I was having to push a lot of buttons. And the Equinox, if you don't push your buttons, you have a better chance to get more out of the ground if the more buttons you push on the high-end machines. And with the Simplex, man, you saw it. I didn't even ground balance the machine. I just turned it on and freaking went for it, and it hit it. You know, that's why the Simplex is so beat up, because I have over 2,000 hours. 2,500 hours, I think it's 2,700 hours with the Simplex. And I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos to show you what the Simplex sounds like, the modes on the Simplex, what they do, the durability of the Simplex, and it just still keeps going. It still keeps outperforming high-end machines. Most of the time, it's about the same. You know, it's give and take. Some days the Simplex doesn't perform, some days the Equinox doesn't perform, some days my Deus doesn't perform, some days the Amphibia won't perform. But all in all, it's a metal detector, right? You're gonna have struggles with it in some situations, in some soils, in some conditions. You know, it's sometimes EMI gets the best of me, even with the Equinox. You know, I've had times where the Equinox is the only machine that's not performing. You know, I was at a permission there a few weeks ago and my Equinox is just totally, completely disabled, man. I just could not dial it in, man. I tried and tried 20 minutes, man. So I wasted 20 minutes of my time, of my detecting time, trying to get the Equinox dialed in because I just wanted to use it so bad. And the Simplex does the same thing. Some sites, the Simplex just will not perform. Actually, more times than the Equinox. But with the Simplex, I'm just not pushing buttons, man. I just turn the machine on. I don't have to ground balance. I don't have to switch modes or anything. Just full gain, just go full bore. And you're detecting, you're getting stuff out of the ground. You're not pushing frickin' buttons, right? With the high-end machines, you kind of have to push the buttons. You have to fine tune it, or it's going to be an unstable machine. With the Simplex, it's just kind of like always unstable anyway, because I have it cranked up all the way. But you've seen that, you know, the Simplex is one of the top performers. It's waterproof, it's durable, it's $250, and it's competing with these high-end machines. Sure, the other machines have stable tones, and you can adjust your tone breaks, you can adjust the pitches of your tones, you can get through the iron a lot better. But in most situations, you know, like in parks or schools or curb strips, you don't need a $1,000 metal detector, right? And I show you that all the time, man. The Simplex can just do it all, man. It can do it all. And it's a toss-up. You know, do you want to spend $1,000 on a machine or $250 on a machine? It's all fun to me, right? It's all fun to me. And I think I have more fun swinging the Simplex because it's so easy to use. I get to detect more, right? I'm not pushing freaking buttons, trying to decide what frequency I want, try to decide what mode I want, because there's so many options on the high-end machines. And with the Simplex, it's waterproof, it's updatable, it's super, super, super the most durable machine on the market. You bring any other machine to me and I will break it compared to the Simplex. What I've put these Simplexes through, it is amazing what abuse it has taken, and it is not broken yet. If I try to do that with my high-end machines, it'll just break, right? They'll just break. And for only $250, you know, there's a lot of situations where the Simplex has outperformed all my other machines, all my high-end machines. You know, it's not about how much money you spend on the machine. It's about how much fun you want to have with it. And it can be a very expensive hobby. For $250, you can't beat it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.